right. It's been about 10 days on podcast. I wanted to do a live one today. Greg Wright's live. Greg Wright's Real Estate, Fresno, California. The Wrights team here with our team. And Martin Fabian. Martin Fabian, insurance agent broker out of Fresno, Madera, California, Clovis. Here to answer all your questions and how important insurance is on homes and other properties in the state of California. With the insurance getting tougher, right? You need a good agent, broker, and insurance broker agent to guide you through it to get the best price, terms, and insurance that you need for your product and have it available. So we're going to explain how important that is today from the real estate perspective. We want this to bring value to our sellers, buyers, and investors now and in the future. So grab your coffee, grab your pen, take some notes. Right? So, we've been getting a lot, as you probably have heard. We're getting a lot of challenges, right? Some challenges with insurance and getting the right pricing and policies in place on properties across the state of California. We serve the Central Valley, right? From Tulare all the way to Merced, based out of Fresno, Madera, Clovis, California. And knowing this, I thought a lot of buyers and sellers were asking to say, investors, why don't we do a podcast on insurance? And so we can kind of take the fear away and put people in the knowledge that they need to know, right? So with the new real estate market in California with insurance, tell us about that. Tell us what's going on with all this.
So obviously for a lot of people that are seeing it, obviously a lot of people know about the State Farm's policies going on, right? They were already canceling a lot of policies originally last year. And then now, unfortunately, with the wildfires that happened down in LA, they're going to cancel probably a lot more here coming this year as well, right? And they're also seeking that 22% increase. A lot of people are upset about something like that and it happening to them. Which rightfully so, right? We all want to make sure that we're getting the best product at probably the cheapest price sometimes, you know what I mean? But at the same time, the best product isn't always the cheapest, right? And a lot of people don't, understand that. And so they need to know what the ins and outs of their policy is going on and how that affects what they're insuring when it comes to their biggest asset that they're probably going to purchase for their life. So that's definitely stuff that we need to pay attention to.
Absolutely. So, a few times we've had challenges, like even on my primary home that I've lived in for almost 20 years that I built in 2005, our insurance, went up a little bit, right? Because the insurance is tightened up. And some people, they've actually canceled their insurance, right? Even if it's not in a fire zone area. But with you, we've had great success getting buyers policies on their homes, whether it's a first-time home buyer or an investor, farm and ranch, even foothill property where it's a fire hazard, where a lot of insurance companies won't give insurance up there. We're able to get that through with Martin Fabian here because he works hard, does his due diligence. He's got a cachet of insurance companies that he can go to get you the right terms and price. So thank you for that.
Definitely.
Explain maybe what the difference is between you and some other insurance agents that are out there that can't get policies in place, and then magically by referring them over to you, you're able to get them in perspective and get a policy for them. What's the difference?
Yeah, so the difference is that we're a non-captive broker a lot of the times, right? Whereas your State Farms, your Allstates, your Farmers, right? They all are kind of captive in what they can write and also what they can do and what their company as far as like a whole, right? The main corporation will allow them to write. Whereas I have access to, almost 30 different companies that are writing homeowner policies. Yeah, it may not be, that $1,000 premium that a lot of people were used to back in the day, right? Unless you live in that 1 to 10-year-old home right now. That's where we're seeing like those same kind of price points. And we've had some as low as $600 for the year on a brand new home, right? And again, now that's barring other things, right? There is underwriting still that does happen with you have claims at your old house or different things. So that's one of the biggest reasons that I'm able to do that is I know where to go and what companies are going to write where. In my office that I work with, Modern Edge Insurance Brokers, we have probably combined over 60 years of experience in the industry, with our office manager having 35 years of experience and 10 of that in claims. She knows exactly what companies are going to do what and how to write the different policies and where to go for the different policies for that. And that's, again, having that access to all of those different companies to write with, instead of being captive and stuck and being told by like State Farm, hey, you're not writing any policies anymore and you're going to barely get to maintain what you're maintaining now. We're able to write more, and we're helping everybody find, decently affordable for what the price is now.
Yeah. And I think one thing with you, and I'll ask you the question, sometimes it could be because you love your career in insurance, like I love mine in real estate, working with buyers, sellers, and investors. So yeah. I think some of the difference too is work ethic, and the fact that you're like me, not after necessarily a commission or a payday, put the service first, and you're making a living will follow, right?
Definitely, no, 100%.
To get into other policies that maybe don't pay as good as this other company, but it's right for the client. So like us, you're able to do that. And that's who we like to line up with. What's always best for the client, right?
No, 100%. That's exactly what we do. And I'll even tell you, like, hey, I'll tell you right now, even on this, Farmers is really, really good for that 20-year-old and older home. So if that's something that you're looking at and buying, that's probably a place that I would start out trying to get a quote from for something like that, right? Whereas, again, our brokerage and our companies that we work with, we know where we kind of specialize in. And I'll just tell you straight up, like, hey, look, this is going to be this price. If you want to go with me, 100%, you'll have access to me, and you're not going to have a 1-800 number, right? If you were like with Geico, right? Like Geico, like you guys go in there, you type in your information, and guess what? Now all you get to do is call a 1-800 number. You don't have an agent that you can physically touch.
Yeah, absolutely. That's huge. I've always had an agent in you, and I'm not gonna, steer away from that, because you get what you pay for, you get what you don't pay for. So why not still get the best price or a good price with you and get the 100% service? So if something ever does happen, you're covered. You know what I mean? That's the important part. Yeah.
And that's where the office manager comes into play for us really good, is if you do have a claim, God forbid that does happen to you, unfortunately, right? We're able to walk you through that process step by step, and she knows exactly what they're going to want and how to push the underwriters to make sure that we are getting you paid as much as you need to be on that type of claim, or what we need to do, or even if we do even submit the claim, right? Say hey, let's tell you, that's probably not a good idea to submit this because you're going to then jack your insurance up $3,000 when it's only going to cost you $3,000 to fix it.
Okay, let me ask a few questions here that are top of mind. Now I want to say this: every buyer that's investing in the first, second, third investor, first time home buyer or not, purchasing a piece of property in California before the close of escrow, when there's a loan involved. When there's a loan, if it's a cash deal, it's different. But how many cash deals are there? 5%. Yeah. So we're talking to 95% of the public out there. You're going to get a loan. You're going to have insurance before you close the loan as a buyer. 100% of the time, there's no way around it. They will not close the transaction. You won't get your keys until we have insurance. That's the reason we're having this conversation. Secondly, investors, same thing. Unless it's all cash, they have to have it. Sellers will need to have insurance going to their next property. So may as well start with Martin quickly. Get the information in. Once we get into escrow with the sale of their property count and we close it, then we're on the buying side. We'll have insurance for them through Martin on that transaction. So everybody needs to have it, is what we're getting at. Secondly, what do buyers need to know? Sellers, investors needing insurance on a property. What can help them make the transaction smoother and the right pricing? How much of a deductible should they put in? Well, give us a couple ideas there, what they could use for a good tool.
Yeah. So really, deductible, I would even say now, especially with the way prices are, even on like a car insurance too, like if we want to kind of compare the two, right? A lot of people are like, oh, I like my $500 deductible on a car. Well, what car do you know right now that's like a newer, 10 years or newer, that's going to cost you only $500 to replace a part for the most part? Not very many, right? And then two, you go and want to do the $500 deductible because it's only $700 to replace. So your insurance is covering the other $250. Now you're going to end up increasing your insurance over time that after that time period is up, right? So your premium is going to go up because you had a claim. So you really need to understand, like, now the way things are too is like, if you get the higher deductible, that helps you lower the premium out the gate. So that could lower your monthly cost. And that actually could do something good for you, because it is going to cost you, especially if a house, like say you have a water claim and you ruin all your floors ruined, right? Your floorboards, the paint, you're gonna have to redo all of that. That's going to cost more than $2,500. So a lot of people are at that $1,000 deductible, but I mean, if you jump it up a little bit, you might save $500 a year on your cost of insurance to help you, again, kind of adjust for that cost of insurance that's going up.
If they raise the deductible, does that help? Is there any chance that it helps with, if they're not putting a bunch of claims in and they have a claim? Let's say they use a $2,500 deductible to get that lower monthly payment, right, on their home or their car. Does that affect at all the insurance potentially that could go up, or is it the same?
Maybe I don't understand.
So let's say they put a claim in and they have a $500 deductible and they have a $2,500. Is it? There's a chance, and it's not always that way, because I've turned a couple claims on cars, and one of my home over the last 20 years, and my insurance only went up 1 of the 3 times, but the other 2 it didn't. So if they put a higher deductible down, does the insurance have a better chance not to be raised, or is it the same as the $500 deductible?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that that's going to matter on the premium raising on the next year, right? When it comes up for renewal, it's the claim that's going to cause the issue, no matter what it is, right? And so that's where, again, we're seeing that cost of a replacement cost of something in the house. You know what I mean? If it's $3,000. Again, I know some people, right now don't have $3,000 just sitting in the bank. A lot of us are living paycheck to paycheck, unfortunately, right? But if you do have that in there, I would say do your best to not turn in that claim and just pay it out of pocket. Or if, the company that would come in and repair it will allow you to do like a payment plan, I think that would be a better option when it's that lower of a cost. Right now, if we're getting the tens, thousands, right, $8,000 to $10,000 or more, or $5,000, I would probably turn in the claim.
Yeah, that's different. So
that's different.
So that's good information. Yeah, the insurance has been good. This has been able to help me out about 3 times, so I'm glad I have it. The buyers have to have it. What do you predict with insurance on homes and properties, and in the year of 2025, where it's going to go on pricing and availability?
So availability is getting scarcer by the day. I'll tell you that. I had a home that I wrote in one area in a neighborhood, and then last month, and then this month I can't write that neighborhood right now. A lot of places are putting, they're capping out how much they'll put in one specific zip code. So that's zip code. So when you have, a massive zip code, and then you have a massive amount of homes in that zip code, that's what's going to cause some issues for a lot of clients right now. But again, we still have, because we're a broker, I am still able to go somewhere else and place that policy. It just might unfortunately be a higher premium than what we were hoping for at that time, right?
Okay.
So that is something that is happening.
Since the main thing is to give value to the people that are listening, buyers, sellers, and real estate investors. Martin also does, vehicles, bundle it. So if they did a whole bundle, meaning they bundle it together, they do the home, they do the cars and all that, and maybe they put on there, which I recommend, they put on their Fresno County, Madera County is about 30%. Last I checked was 30% of the people don't have insurance on their cars. So if on your vehicles, you should add uninsured motorist, so you're covered. And then for me, my insurance didn't go up by doing that. They hit my car and they didn't have no insurance, but I got my car fixed a couple years ago. My insurance didn't go up, thank God. But so bundling and saving, is that an option?
So we have very select few of our carriers that are going to do bundle and saving at the moment. We can get a little bit of a discount on some of the homeowners policies, right? But none of the autos are giving a discount because you wrote with us, unfortunately, right now, right? It's the name of the game right now. Nobody's really bundling, right? Like State Farm or Geico or any of those, right? Where they're bundling. My carriers, unfortunately for me, are not bundling to save a lot. We do have a couple that are doing some bundle, or if you put the auto with us, right, then we'll get like maybe a 5 to 10% discount on the.
That's what I'm talking about right there. If anything helps people, right, save money.
Correct.
Great. Well, I think that, is there anything else you want to add to this that we might have missed out on?
No, I think that was pretty much it, and again, obviously making sure that you know your limits, know what your policy can and won't cover, right? And again, if that's something you need help with and you want to go over with, not a problem. Our office will sit down and go over your policy with you, whether that's via phone, via Zoom, in person, however you want to do it. We'll make it happen for you. So that is something we can do, and we're always giving free quotes. You know what I mean? Those are always don't cost us a dime to take care of and see if, maybe you save $1 or $2 or even get your dwelling coverage more covered. So actually that is one thing I will say real quick. The biggest piece of the real estate one is going to be that dwelling coverage. And a lot of places will only do like 125% replacement cost. Now that's going to cause some really big issues for people that are in that old 10-year-old or older home, because you have the fire sprinklers that have to be put in, right? Bunch of other new mandates that California is mandating you put in. That cost money. God forbid your house burns down and you have to replace it completely, right? The permits. So having that 150% replacement cost is going to be better for yourself in that older home for sure. Whereas if you're trying to save a little bit of money on the newer home, you could probably get away with the 125% because it's already like that's where it's at. But again, having that 150% replacement cost is going to be where you need.
And let me give some value to the buyers, sellers, and investors that are listening. So I'm able to get, in many cases, in real estate, when we're looking at homes, and for the buyers, we're making offers. For the buyers, sellers that are buying now, or investors, to get the closing costs on a real estate transaction put into the transaction. So what that means is the closing cost may be on a $400,000 property, $10,000. That's going to cover lender fees, title and escrow fees, property taxes, and insurance. Maybe it's $12,000, 10 to 12. So let's say $12,000. I get that paid by the seller for you, the buyer, in many cases. Get the seller to pay the closing cost of $10,000 to $12,000. That'll cover recurring and non-recurring closing costs. In layman terms, that means we'll ask for the insurance to be paid for 1 year at the close of escrow through Martin or anybody the buyer chooses. Property taxes for 6 months with the county that it's in, and escrow, title, and lender fees, everything. So all the buyer has to do is come in with a small down payment or the down payment they like, and all the closing costs are free. So then they get great insurance service and price through you. So there's a value there. So me and Martin are in the business of creating value, an opportunity for you all. And Martin, let me say where I'm at. I'm here in Fresno. We have an office in Madera Ranchos, an office in River Park, Fresno, 7783 North Ingram and Ingram and East area. Greg Wright's a real estate agent broker, 559-260-1777. Here all the time. And Martin Fabian go ahead and introduce yourself.
So I'm out of Modern Edge Brokers Insurance. We're actually out of Visalia. The office is. I work out of my house out of Riverstone most of the time. So if you do need to meet with me, we're going to be meeting in person at a coffee shop or something. We'll buy some coffee. Enjoy a good chat and
and you're a neighbor of mine because I live in the Madera Ranchos off Avenue 12. We got an office there and an office here. So we're glad to be doing business. My number is 559-260-1777. Again, Greg Wright's agent, realtor, 559-260-1777. And Martin's is, go ahead, Martin.
My phone number is going to be 559-779-5048.
And we are ready to go.
Yes, sir.
The phones are ringing. All right. Thank you, Martin, for your time. You have a great day.
You as well. Appreciate it. Bye.